Nova is a definite must-have in your arsenal. She can do so much, from crowd control to DPS and even speed running. Today I want to talk about my Nova Primed Destruction build. As always, if you want to see the build, then be sure to refer to the timestamp displayed on your screen right now. So a few days ago, the Nova Atomica skin has been released and it looks absolutely amazing. And around that time, I've also finished a new build for my Nova Prime, so good timing. This is how the Nova Atomica skin looks like. The helmet is completely revamped and the body is just meh. If we had used a Halogen skin to replace the body, then I think it would really suit the new helmet because it does look really cool. Anyway, let's get started with the actual video. We will be only focusing on 3 abilities, which is going to be Antimatter Drop, aka your nuke ability, Wormhole, which is your portal, and Molecular Prime, which is your ulti. And it is also the main focus of this video. For those who don't really understand how these 3 abilities work, I will explain it to you right now as fast as possible. Antimatter Drop will basically spawn this ball which can absorb damage from your weapons, multiply it, and then deal damage on enemies. The really cool thing about this ability is that when you use it with a shotgun or any weapon with a high burst damage, you can charge up this orb really quick and deal a lot of damage in the end, which makes Antimatter Drop such a useful ability. Whenever you're in a crowded situation or if there's too many enemies behind the wall, just drop one of these, shoot at it, and then it will clear all the enemies around you. The only downside of this ability is that you cannot increase its explosion range, which is quite a bummer. Because if you could do that, Nova will become not just a crowd control Warframe, but also an AoE DPS Warframe. Next ability is Wormhole, which is basically your portal ability. This is the reason why you could use Nova as a speedrun Warframe. You could instantaneously travel from point A to point B using Wormhole. And because of the recent quality of life change update, Nova's Wormhole can actually teleport projectiles and whatever you shoot in it, including Antimatter Drop. All you need to do now is just to sit at one spot. Whatever you shoot at it will be teleported to the other side, which means I can literally pull out my Brehm, put my portal in front of me, and I can teleport my explosive arrows wherever I need. Finally, Molecular Prime. This ability applies a debuff on enemies and it will make them take twice the amount of damage from all sources and then slowing them down or speeding them up depending on your power strength. If you have positive power strength, then you will make them run more slower. If you have negative power strength, then you will make enemies run more faster and attack more faster. This is very useful in many situations. For example, if you bring a negative power strength Nova into a defense mission, you can make enemies run more faster, they would quickly arrive to your objective point, and that means you can kill them more effectively because they are all in one spot. And they are also taking twice the amount of damage from all sources. Then you can finish your defense mission faster than usual. I will talk more about this ability after I finished explaining the builds. And speaking of builds, let's move on to the first one, which is going to be a Slowva build. It mainly consists of 2 formas and it only focuses on making enemies run slowly. So let's take a look at the mods real quick. First of all, we have the power duration mods, which are Primed Continuity, Narrow-Minded, and Augur Message. These 3 power duration mods are going to increase your power duration so that Molecular Prime has more time to expand. And yes, Molecular Prime does rely on power duration to expand bigger, but not power range. Power range only affects the initial radius of Molecular Prime. You don't really want to have a radius too large because you might not cover the enemies that are inside your casting radius. But you also don't want to have too little power range because your explosions might not have a chain reaction to them. If you kill a primed enemy, it will explode. That same explosion can deal quite a lot of damage towards other primed enemies nearby. So that's why when you kill an enemy that is affected by molecular prime, you can cause some sort of chain reaction if your damage is high enough. To make that chain reaction going on, you will need some power strength so that your explosion damage is further amplified. We have intensify and power drift to increase your strength to exactly 145%. There are two reasons on why my power strength is only 145%. Number one is that molecular prime has some sort of cap to it. You cannot go beyond 75% speed debuff. To reach that 75%, you will need 145 power strength, which is why there really is almost no point when you want to raise your power strength to like 200%, because the only abilities it's going to help is your antimatter drop and null star. And here comes B. You don't really need a lot of power strength to buff your antimatter drop. Again, 145 power strength is more than enough to make your antimatter drop really strong. Now let's take a look at the other mods we have in our build. We have Streamline to provide us a little bit of power efficiency, Primed Flow to increase our max energy capacity, and finally we have Lightning Dash. This is just to give you a little bit more mobility when it comes to bullet jumping and gliding. This mod is actually pretty unnecessary. It's just there to make your gameplay slightly better because you have more velocity when you bullet jump, and as well as cool effects. Now that we're done, let's take a look at this Speedva build. Now here is why I actually format the aura slot to become a V. It's because of power donation. With this aura plus overextended, you are going to bring your total power strength down to 10%. You see, there is a cap when it comes to how much the enemies can be slowed down, but there is no cap when it comes to how much the enemies can be sped up. So if you have a power strength that is very little, you're going to make the enemies run even more faster, thus dramatically increasing the pacing of your mission. So everything is fast. And that means you can probably finish your mission more quickly. And then we have pretty much almost the same mods here. We have Primed Continuity, Narrow-Minded, and Augur Message for extra power duration. The same reasoning as why we have so much power duration on the first build. Streamline to give us a little bit of power efficiency. Primed Flow for a higher energy capacity. Lightning Dash is here for the same reason as well. And finally, for the two other blank spots in there, you can put whatever you want. Just make sure to put in mods that doesn't increase your power strength. This is what I will personally put in these two blank spots. Rush to increase your sprint speed, and Cunning Drift to give you a slight range boost so that you can teleport more further using your wormhole. And that is pretty much it. Earlier, I did mention that I was going to further explain Molecular Prime right after I was finished with the builds, so this is it. If you're going to use this Slowva build, it's best that you bring it to a mission where you don't need enemies to come to your objective point. For example, disruption missions, interception, mobile defense, etc. And then Speedva is pretty much the opposite. You want the enemies to quickly come to your objective point and get rid of them as soon as possible. This includes survival missions, defense, or even extermination. There are so many uses for both of these builds, so it's pretty much up to you and how you would use it. As of making this video, I'm still working on the Speedrun build. If you guys are interested in that, then be sure to subscribe to this channel with the notification bell turned on so that you will know whenever I drop a new video. Anyway, let's just move on to the final thing, which would be the demonstration. There won't be anything to benchmark because the only thing I want to show you guys is how effective the slow or the speed up is. So here we go. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys liked it, then be sure to leave a like, write a nice comment, and please consider subscribing. If you guys want to help upkeep this channel or just to support me, then be sure to check out my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in another video. Goodbye.